Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Matt Johnson. We are back with another episode of Real Estate Uncensored. This is the place where you get actionable ideas, insight, and inspiration to turn your real estate career into a life of freedom. We got a special guest here today talking about a super interesting topic, and one that probably gets neglected way too much in real estate, which is the topic of LinkedIn, which, if you want to work with business people, you might want to be on the place where all business people network. I don't know, just a small suggestion. So we'll get into how to do that and some of the tactical things with our special guest. We'll get to her in a second. But first, I'm going to talk for a second and say, so why don't you subscribe on YouTube? Subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on iTunes and Stitcher, depending on whether you want the video or audio versions. And Greg, since you've kicked us off already with a 7-letter or whatever that is, literally 40 seconds into the show,
but there's no F in front
the Junior Grandmaster himself, Greg McDaniel, what's up today?
What's up? But there's no F in front of it. See, I'm making a good effort, Matt. You've got to give me high fives. I'll give you high fives for that because that's awesome.
A solo high five is just called a smack.
I don't high five your face. I didn't smack you. I high fived your face. What do you think? But you know, Matt, the only thing that's going to be neglected is going to be your chubby kids' diets. You know, because we're going to go deep on LinkedIn because you said that LinkedIn was something that's neglected. Well, no, that's not so. That's the only cases today that you're going to be neglected. Because I'm going to beat you up today.
Wow, that was a long way to go for that sad analogy. All right.
I know. So it really was. That's all I had in me today.
All right. So Greg, explain why we have our guest here today and how you ran across her, and then we'll bring her in.
Italina and I were on a panel for the YPN here in Contra Costa County, and I was very impressed with her knowledge about how you can take and leverage LinkedIn for the real estate industry. Like you said, it is neglected because it's not quite as shiny and sexy as a lot of the other newer platforms, but it is an essential piece as a business owner in today's day and age. It's also a phenomenal resource, and Italina will get into this a little bit more on how you can leverage all of the different people in there and how you can join a huge amount of groups. I think it's 50 for in the free account, and really get your name and brand out there. So without ado, Italina, welcome. I'm glad to see you again.
Oh, thank you. Good to see you too, Greg, and thanks for having me.
Oh, it is our pleasure. Like I said, I was very impressed with your knowledge and the way you presented it, and I think that our viewers are in desperate need of your knowledge. So please let us sit at your feet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow, I didn't see that one coming.
Well, first of all, give us a little 60-second bio on who you are, where you are, and what you primarily do when you're not showing up at random events with Greg McDaniel.
Sure. So my name is Italina. I'm the real estate community's online presence expert and speaker. I give over 40 talks a year on the subject, specifically on leveraging LinkedIn for the real estate community. Why real estate? Because while LinkedIn is the #1 professional site, real estate tends to be behind in utilizing it. Most realtors are there, but not actively using it. So it's like having a gym membership, but not going to the gym.
It's like your kids, Matt.
That's mine, really. They don't have gym memberships. They're just sitting around, just intravenously, inhaling food. Anyway.
I would never talk about your kids, Matt.
Yeah, thanks. I'd be more offended if they were real.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, by the way.
I have to clarify that for our guests, that it's a running joke on the show. I don't actually have a wife and kids. They're non-existent. They're just Greg. They're a figment of Greg's imagination. Anyway, as we were talking before we went on the air, LinkedIn, like using LinkedIn, is about having real conversations. So I'd like you just to share kind of what's your overall approach, real quick, to LinkedIn.
Sure. Well, real estate is a relationship-heavy business. People want to know their realtor. People want to know who's helping them with this super huge decision. So then being on a platform like LinkedIn allows them, first of all, it's trusted. It's a trusted site. So people can rely on, okay, if I go on this site here and check out this agent who was referred to me, then I can get an idea of who they are. So as an agent, you want to be making the most of that. Make sure that when they go to your profile, they see something amazing, that you are conveying the real estate rock star that you are online as you are in your business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people. So, is it a bio that they mess up on first, or is their photo kind of like when they're doing a keg stand back in college?
So I would say there's two things. Like I said, I think having the photo is like having the gym membership. They've got the card, right? So I think there's two things that are heavily neglected. Number one, the platform or their profile looks just like a resume. That's boring. No one wants a real estate agent's resume. What they want to see is the meat around it. What all are you doing? Are you volunteering? Are you in other organizations? What kind of content? What are you sharing? They want to know how you think. They want to know if they can relate to you. And how else can they determine if they can relate to you other than you actually voicing yourself through whether it be a blog that you have on LinkedIn or the posts that you're sharing on a weekly basis, and even the things that are in your summary. So I would say the profile is one huge piece, but then number two, the other piece is responding and talking to the people on LinkedIn. I mean, that's crazy that you wouldn't talk to those people.
No, a conversation with another human, stop it. That's I can't do such a thing. Oh my God.
Those are real people, not just heads in a computer. So those are the two biggest things. Even once you have your profile all sparkling and beautiful, now what? You gotta talk to those people.
Yeah, you can go back and forth, actually engage with them. Maybe even get super crazy and ask a question back.
Oh my God. A dialogue? Oh man.
So, Italina, how did you get into the realm of training on LinkedIn in general and speaking to agents?
Okay, sure. So it's a really funny story. I mean, not that funny, but basically I started off in law. Picture me an attorney, right? And then I was like, school's fun. I love school. School's great. We drink a lot. We party.
Oh.
Like, I love school. And then I got my internships working with judges and attorneys, and that was supposed to be cool. That was exciting opportunities. But just to be honest, I didn't love it. I wasn't in love with it. But I thought, you know what, I'm going to be a mature adult. I have a job now. Maybe it means you're not going to be happy, and that's just the way it is. But then I got sick, and that's when that was the huge wake-up call for me that, okay, now this is not just in my head. My body is rebelling. And I made a decision that day to pursue work that I enjoyed, that didn't make me physically ill, that didn't make me sick. So I delved into LinkedIn to find my next job, my next career opportunity. Doing that hands-on, I learned a lot. I was really active. It got my profile a lot of attention. A lot of people were reaching out to me. I was getting phone calls. Italina, how do you do this on LinkedIn? How do you do that on LinkedIn? So instead of looking for a job, I was spending time on the phone literally walking people through how to use LinkedIn. And I was like, I need to start charging for this. So I literally, that's how it evolved. I hired a business coach, created my packages, services, and we've been doing this since 2012. It's been really fun.
Very cool. Yeah, there's a lot there that we can potentially delve into, but I like the fact that I think Derek Sivers says don't start a business until people are asking you to, and that's exactly what you did. Is you waited for the actual demand to bubble up and force you to do more of that. Like you start off doing it for free, and then when the demand hits that point, then you go, okay, now I need to charge for this. And I think a lot of people go in there and start a business, especially like in the online, either the training coaching space or the info marketing space. It's horrible for this. It's like, hey, I know how to teach X. So I'm going to create a product that teaches X, and everybody's going, yeah, but I don't want to do X, I want to do Y and Z. So yeah, I like that.
And sometimes people ask me why specifically LinkedIn. I mean, while we take care of, and I say we because now I have a team now we take care of your entire online presence, or just your social media presence, really, your social media email newsletters. But LinkedIn, I found a special place there because a lot of people are talking about Facebook. A lot of people are talking about all these other platforms. And LinkedIn is kind of the thing that's really set me apart. And I found, speaking about the marketplace, I kept hearing every time I would go to networking events or real estate association meetings, I say, hey, are you on LinkedIn? And they go, yeah, I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't know how to use it. I kept hearing that over and over. So that's like on my profile, that's in my marketing material. Are you on LinkedIn but don't know how to use it?
You know, I bumble around on it myself. And it worked so well for me for a little while. I was taking like our episodes here and, you know, taking Matt's write-up, posting it there, then adding the link into it, and I was getting engagement, and then I stopped for whatever dumbass reason. But I mean, I'm sure there's a lot more that we can talk about than just doing that. But what have you found to be some of the more successful things real estate agents can post? And please don't say their listings. And there's got to be something. Word.
Thank you. In fact, when we were on the panel together, I was like, oh my God, I'm so tired of that word listing. So sick of it.
Good.
So guess what? If I'm sick of it, if you're sick of it, guess who else is sick of it? Everybody else who's out there who's having to read your posts and eat chicken for dinner every single night.
Mm-hmm.
Hey,
Damn
I
it, I
like
want
chicken
steak.
for dinner every night. Stop that. Don't insult chicken for dinner. All right,
Oh,
so no
Johnson.
listing. So what other type of content would you recommend posting to LinkedIn? Because I think that's a big struggle for real estate agents is they feel the pressure to post things. They feel the pressure to post stuff, whatever that stuff happens to be. But they're going, look, all I have is like what I'm doing on a daily basis, which is I'm listing properties, I'm working with buyers and doing this stuff. So what are some of the things that you would recommend people to post?
Sure. And I would actually say that a real estate agent is doing a lot more than just that. A day in the life of an agent, oh my God, you're doing a lot of things in the community, whether it be volunteering or even just if you're in your office on the computer looking around for a property to match your buyer. You can have someone in the office take a photo of you and say just that. Helping one of my favorite buyers today in the Contra Costa area, wherever you are, and boom, you've got content. Just share what you're doing. Treat social media like it's your own e-Hollywood story, your own documentary, right? Your behind the scenes, day in the life.
Now, can you cross-pollinate with LinkedIn? We're going back to the photo. So can you
Mm-hmm.
take, can you obviously just grab anything from your library on your phone, post
Mm-hmm.
it up? Can you then also post it out to multiple different other social media channels simultaneously? Or
So I think LinkedIn
for
does
sure.
allow you to connect to post it to Twitter as well.
Okay.
As obviously it has to meet the character requirements. But as far as should you, or is it appropriate to post what you post on LinkedIn or what you post on other more fun social media sites like Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram? Is it appropriate to put it on LinkedIn? What I always say is as long as you can tie it into work, as long as you can
Mhm.
tie it into work, you can share it on LinkedIn. So you might have to tweak the content a little bit, which is great because then any followers you have on both platforms are seeing something a little bit different.
Yeah, I always when I'm teaching one of my classes, and you're the expert, so I'm going to learn from you on this. But what I tell people is that on different social media channels, you speak in different languages because you're not going to talk about getting butt faced at the lake, and a sunburn on LinkedIn. You're going to talk about having an educational experience at the lake over the weekend. And you know what? So because if I go on there and I come on just red faced and bloated and hung over. And I'm
Right.
like, oh my God, guys, I really wish you guys had a good weekend because I got hammered. And you get posted that, everyone's going to be like, and check the box for discredited. Thank you, moving
Hmm.
forward.
Totally.
Be very
I,
careful what you put out there, right?
I like your examples. Let's take your lake story. What I would say if let's just say you were to post that on Facebook somewhere else, I don't think you should even post that on those sites, but let's say you were, the way we tweak it for LinkedIn is you would
Mhm.
say, taking a break from a realtor today and spending the day at the lake. Or what's so great about being a real estate agent is even at the lake, I can make connections and build relationships.
But don't put the photo of you wearing the 12er on your head, right? I probably
Yeah,
shouldn't be doing that.
totally. Sober up
No,
real fast and then take the photo, or take the lake with you, but the lake behind you.
That's funny stuff. But yeah, no, so in all honesty, what are some things to absolutely 100% avoid? I know we're joking around with the whole getting shit-faced at the lake thing, but there has got to be some things that agents and overall business people need to avoid.
Yeah.
What have you seen to be the things that people should not be doing on LinkedIn?
Okay, getting political, getting
Yes.
religious, and ranting. Anything that's not positive. And I would say the other one is when you see this one's not as much of a um, what is that violation. This one's not as much of a violation, but I just don't think it's appropriate for LinkedIn. When people take a picture with their friend and saying, "Oh, enjoyed going out to dinner and catching up with my friend Sally." Like, why? That's not appropriate for LinkedIn. That's nothing to do with work. You always have to tie it into work with somehow. So if you're saying, you even mention networking or catching up to talk about business or how we can best refer to each other, you got to throw that in there if you're going to post a picture with you and a friend on LinkedIn.
Very good point. I was thinking about like how is that not appropriate? I'm like, oh, because as soon as you said that, I'm like, I don't care if you went to dinner with Sally. Who gives a
Right.
shit? But I
Right.
do care about networking. I do care about
Mhm.
referrals. You
Yeah,
know?
see, that's great. I actually post every week on LinkedIn, sometimes never more than once a day, but sometimes like every other day. And no matter what, I'm getting tons of likes. And people think, oh, it's LinkedIn. It has to be real businessy, and I got to always share reports and graphs and market. And it's not like that. It's just these are professionals. These just happen to be people who have jobs or incomes, and so you have to speak to them. So you saying I'm catching up with my friend here today, talking about how we can best refer each other, that's something a professional, especially a business owner like a realtor, would be interested in hearing. And I get tons of likes on LinkedIn. It's a lot of fun.
Interesting. All right, here's a question for you. And this is what people ask me this. They're like, Greg, is it better to be connected to everybody and their sister or a smaller group?
Okay, so you have to think about your audience, right? You're, as a real estate agent, you're wanting to build relationships with, even if it means with other real estate agents, because guess what? They can refer you, or maybe they've got things going on in their life and they'd rather just collect a referral fee than take on this client themselves. Think about the fact that you, as a real estate agent, you're meeting a lot of people. Why wouldn't you connect with them on LinkedIn? You're getting business cards. You're even meeting people at bars because you're social people, and that's a part of your job, to talk about your business every day, any chance you can. You don't just talk about your job at networking events. You can turn a dinner party, use that as an opportunity to share what you do. So you get those business cards, connect with them on LinkedIn. So now at least they're like, oh, you're popping up, you're familiar, right? What I'm having a kind of a blonde moment here. What was your question?
So the question was, is it better to connect with everybody,
or everyone.
just those small groups?
Yes, thank you. Okay, so I feel like as a business owner, I want to have a broad network, because you never know where those referrals are coming from. You never know who's going to need your help. Yeah. Now, obviously, I do some screening, right? If they don't have a profile photo, if they just have the little gray dude on there, then I'm a little more like, who's this? If they're in another country where I know I don't do business or wouldn't do business, or where I know they're, as a business owner, I tend to get solicited. People want me to hire them, sometimes from other countries. So I will screen that out. But for the most part, my best screening process, rather than just judging a profile, my best screening process is just sending them a message, even without accepting, and saying just a simple, hi, thanks for connecting. What made you want to connect? Ask them. You don't get just pissed off because they send you a request and you don't know them. Ask them.
Yeah. Who's this creeper over in Afghanistan? Maybe he.
I'll do that on Facebook too. If I get requests from people where there's just a couple of mutual friends, and the mutual friends that we do have, I don't know them, because I use Facebook primarily for business, so it's very similar to the way a business person uses LinkedIn.
Oh, well, you have to friend me then.
It's the exact same. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, I connected with you on LinkedIn, by the way. That was one of the things I was doing over here. But yes, I mean, but you'd be amazed. Yeah, I mean, all you do is fire back a message saying, "Hey, how did you find me?" And then half the time you don't get a response back. So obviously they didn't want to connect that badly. They're just going down the line and clicking friend, and that's not a valuable connection anyway. Right. I think in real estate, one of the interesting things that I've noticed about LinkedIn is that if your intention is to get proactive, and you actually start to use LinkedIn to find referral partners and prominent people in business that you just want to be connected with, because they know a lot of people, they're a connector themselves. The more, if you connect with them on LinkedIn, somebody else pointed out this, that all of their connections become your second level connections, and all of a sudden your network just blows up.
Right.
You're fully connected with a bunch more people, which then that means that it's one of those weird social things. Yeah, if you actually plan on using LinkedIn to have actual conversations with actual human beings, as I do. So I've been reaching out to fellow podcast hosts on LinkedIn, and what I'll do is I'll go through the connections that we share. And half the time they're podcast guests that we've both booked, or people that I know personally or connected to somehow. And I'm able to say, hey, fellow podcast host, I see we've booked so-and-so and so-and-so. We both had them on their show. They were fantastic. and then you start a conversation from there. It breaks down any wall. I can email them directly, or I can send them an email through LinkedIn, and it gets almost instant responses because you're starting off with, hey, this is who we're connected to. And if you're like reaching out to the general public because you're trying to find referral partners or clients, the ability to go, hey, we've got like 15 mutual friends, so we must, obviously we run in the same circle. I'm surprised we haven't met before, but I just wanted to connect with you here on LinkedIn. I think that'd be a great little email script or an in-mail script to connect with somebody.
Absolutely. Matt, you what you just described, you are networking. You're networking online.
That's surprising. Greg is shocked. Greg
networking
right now. I'm just sitting here right now, Matt.
No, I started doing this I started doing this last week, and I haven't had a ton of time for it. So I'm actually having my assistant jump on, and so I've got Sales Navigator. So I'm having her go through a saved search and saving leads and pulling out names, links to their website, their bio, their LinkedIn profile, and if possible, she'll track down their email address. So then rather than going into LinkedIn, I'm going into a spreadsheet, clicking on their LinkedIn profile, seeing who their mutual connections are, and then writing them a custom email. That should cut the process in half. But I've got 5 calls next week scheduled with other podcast hosts. Just from the 20 or 30 messages I've sent out over the past week or so.
Nice.
Yeah. So yes, I mean, if you actually use LinkedIn to connect with people and actually talk to people, like that part does work. But one of the things that I want to get into, I know Greg needs to give some shout outs because we missed this in the last show, but I'd like to get into the profile part of it because you've got an amazing profile. You've got your contact information on there, but most importantly, it's the copy that has gone and all the high-level thought that's gone into your profile. I want to dig into a little bit of that and how you can apply some of the concepts behind what's right about your profile to real estate. So that's what I want to get into next. So Greg, I know you've got some people that you want to shout out. Do you actually have the names in front of you where you could shout them out?
Some.
Or are we just going to give like a lot of one-handed high fives?
High five, high five, high five. See, I feel so good about myself. I gave 4 of them, so I had to actually technical high fives. Okay, so I'm going to read off just names I've been in communication with. Communication. I speak the goods. My mom has taught me good. So Stevie, Neely, Mike, Josh, Chuck, Bob, Misty, Brian, Ismail, Caesar, Brad, Aaron, Justin, are just to name a few of you guys that have been in communication with me, but I have a really big shout out to Hannah. Hannah, thank you so much for that incredibly kind comment you left me about watching my live prospecting and you liking the show and how much it's given you self-confidence and how your coworkers have noticed it. So I'm very blessed and honored that what we're putting out there is affecting you in a positive way, so thank you for reaching out. Also, guys, the McDaniel Challenge is booked. Crap, I'm in September. I got to go to check this out, dude. So the McDaniel Challenge, guys, is booked until March. Come here, calendar. 20th of next year. So if you guys want to do it, it's an hour to 2 hours of free coaching. 925-915-1978. We'll get that more information about that later on in the show. But absolutely, guys, if you want it, don't seriously get off your ass. You're going to be put into 2018. And there's my first call coming in for the McDaniel Challenge, ladies and gentlemen. But you dialed the wrong freaking number. Damn it.
Oh, that was perfect timing. That was awesome. Sounds like we're in a telethon. Now, if you just give $5 more, we can keep this amazing program on the air. We've got our phone bank over here. Go ahead and call them up. They're ready and waiting. Now let's get back to your regularly scheduled program. Guy Lombardo and his fabulous orchestra. All right. All right. So first of all, take Greg up on the McDaniel Challenge for real, because if you don't, it'll be like a year before you'll be able to talk to Greg.
No joke.
And then if you guys are listening live, watching live here on YouTube, whatever the case is, make sure if you want to send in a question for Italina about LinkedIn while we're on the show, just hit me up on Facebook. I'm pursuing results. It's easy to find. Shoot me a message and I'll bring the question. But 2 things I wanted to mention was Greg's Favorite Scripts. Go to gregsfavoritescripts.com. You can download that for free. It's like 15 of Greg's ramblings, the exact quote. which I'm sure for the poor person that had to transcribe that, I pity them, but we've got them transcribed. They are there for you. There's a link with a video to Greg actually going through the script so you can hear the phrasing and tonality, which is the important part. That's all free. Download that there. And then our video training course on real estate farming and how to develop a geofarm and how to do all of your cold, warm, and hot outbound prospecting events, and how to really use Zillow, which is like 20 minutes of Greg going super deep on all the weird and interesting ways that he uses Zillow. That's all at well, yeah, somewhat weird.
It's not
Anyway,
weird. It's creative. We got to get our verbiage correct.
Sure. All right. So weird has a little bit of a negative vibe. Let's go with creative. Okay.
Home stalking? House stalking? Yeah? No?
Sure.
Okay, we'll move forward.
That's stalking. That putting the word stalking in there makes it so less creepy. All right.
So
So
less
go
creepy.
to farmlikegreg.com. Farmlikegreg.com. You can check out that product and see if that's something that you're interested in. Anyway.
And here they are. They're showing up and they're calling. I love these guys. Oh my God.
That's
Most
right.
interactive podcast
Man, they're not
I've ever
just
done.
calling you, Greg. They're like showing up at your house.
I know.
But they got the
again,
wrong place.
You assholes, you did it wrong. Wrong home.
That's right.
Italina's like just dying. She's like, I have never been on a podcast like this ever in my life.
That's not
true.
surprising, I guess.
While you guys are rambling, I'm going to check and see who that is.
All right, go
Okay.
ahead.
Make sure they're not weird like us.
All
Same
right.
with the strangers. Stranger danger.
Stranger danger. That's right. All right.
Follow me,
So let's talk about LinkedIn a little bit. So the changes that I personally made to my profile after I went through some training on this is I went back and looked and realized that I didn't have anything in like right after my name that showed what I do. And so that's one of the changes that I personally made, is so that even when somebody searches for my name, so I have a common name, so there may be
Matt
people that
Johnson?
actually connect to me that.
It's pretty unique, actually.
Yeah.
I've never heard the last name Johnson.
I know. It's rare. But anyway, so if you pull up my name on LinkedIn, if it's the right me, you'll see CEO of Pursuing Results, podcast, PR, and production, quote, we book the guest for you. And that shows out actually like in the search field for LinkedIn. So if somebody's looking for me specifically, or if they stumble across my profile for any reason, it tells them right up front exactly what I do, and I've got my like differentiating or my USP statement like in that space. And Italina has the same thing. So Italina, yours has JD, which is your degree, and then a star, which I'm jealous because you figured out how to do that, and then online presence expert and speaker. So is that one of those like symbols that you can copy paste off one of those sites and like plug it in there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Is that the question mark? Yeah.
Because we do that. So in the subject line of our emails, when we send our regular Tuesday emails out, there is a play symbol in the subject line. That boosts our open rates a lot, and it's just a simple little thing, and all it is a copy and paste shape. It's some sort of weird, it's like HTML code or something like that. And if you know how to sneak it in there, somebody can go and they can look that up and they can figure out how to do that, or they can hire you. So anyway, so let's go a little bit deeper into your LinkedIn profile and tell us like when you first started. When you first switched over to offering this as a service and you knew you wanted to brand yourself online as an expert in LinkedIn, as a coach and stuff like that. So how did you then go back through your profile knowing what you knew about LinkedIn profiles? What did you do to really optimize it?
Sure. So as far as content, really was keeping my ears out in the marketplace. So like I shared with you, every time I was out and about, I kept hearing this phrase, and it was said just like this, quote, I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't know how to use it. I literally took what I was hearing from people and plugged that in as content for my profile.
Okay.
Really? So you'd answer the question. So like, I'm on LinkedIn, but I don't know how to use it. So like, do you start a series of videos or articles, or what would you do?
So if you actually look on my blog or on my LinkedIn profile, you'll see 2 blog posts or published articles there. And one of them is titled, Most Realtors Are on LinkedIn but Don't Know How to Use It. That's one. And then there's another one. The first one that I did back in 2014, it's actually when you go into the problem, it's just that. Most professionals are on LinkedIn but don't know how to use it. So just using the verbiage that I'm hearing in the marketplace and using that as content. The problems that people keeps saying.
I like that because that's something that if you know who Ramit Sethi is, he's the guy that runs I Will Teach You to Be Rich and does a ton of psychological and psychographic research before they release any kind of coaching, training, consulting product or whatever. That's what they do. So they will survey their, I think it's probably 250,000 deep email list. So they'll send out surveys, they'll follow up with phone calls, they'll do interviews, the whole 9 yards, because that's what they're looking for. And you got it, Italina, by the natural flow of just speaking with people, and realtors can get that too. But what they get is they get the natural language problem, the statement of what the problem is, because if you can understand the problem that they're having, but it's just as important to understand that the language that they phrase the problem in, because number one, it makes you easier to be found, whether it's LinkedIn or whether it's your website or whatever. But if you have the phrasing right that people actually type into search engines, you're way ahead of the game. So understanding the problem and then understanding how people phrase the problem is super important, because then when they stumble on your LinkedIn profile, if they're looking at that and they read their own language coming back at them, it's like you get that alignment, and all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, that's me.
You're talking to me.
You're talking to me. Yeah, exactly. And that's exactly what you want from content marketing. So I think what people don't understand a lot of times about content marketing is it's not just about the push. It's not just about how can I create something that I can send out to people that will get attention or interrupt their day. A lot of it is about the credibility of when they do find you, however they found you, which preferably would be from a referral. But when they find you and they look you up, they have all this stuff, all this content that immediately solves the credibility problem, and hopefully it's the right kind of stuff, that the language is right, that the language matches there to where they go, oh yeah, that person's speaking to me, and they work with other people just like me, and they get exactly the results that I want to get. And then like half the battle, 90% of the battle of you selling them something is already solved. So there was one other thing I wanted to point out here that realtors could really learn from, is there's a phrase at the bottom of your profile where it says, as a service to my community, I teach business training events such as Leverage LinkedIn for Leads to real estate professionals in Contra Costa County, Walnut Creek, San Ramon, Danville, and then you go on to list the other counties and cities where you specialize in, where you give in-person presentations. That's exactly what every real estate agent on the planet should do, is right there.
Every single one of them. Yeah.
And
so that's a perfect example, Matt. That's a perfect example of not just using this thing as a resume. Take advantage of all the space that LinkedIn offers to really show and promote you and your business and what you've got going on. What sets you apart from the other bajillion agents out there? Yeah. What's your specialties? So people can see it right there. It doesn't have to be this boring resume.
Now, how much have you worked with agents to where, like, do you get into the weeds with them in terms of helping them figure out what their statement is of how they're different and the areas that they serve? All right, so first of all, this is an excruciating process if you work with agents. Getting them to narrow, because as I'm sure you're aware, every agent works with everybody all the time, just anyone, all the time, everywhere. So how do you get somebody to kind of narrow down, like, look, tell me what county you work in, tell me your ideal client, you know what I'm saying, so you actually have something to work with.
Sure. So once a client starts working with me, once they're on board, they're officially a client, they receive a list of questions from me that they have to answer. And that's where we get to really delve deep into who they are, what's going on in their business, what sets them apart. I have to weed through all that information that they provide me. And then from that, including if I'm giving them coaching calls, I'm getting to know them through our talks together. And I can get clear, like, oh my God, this is your what do you do statement right here. This is what you should be saying. When someone asks you, what do you do? Don't just say I'm a realtor. Say this. And then they've got this nice, memorable hook that's clear and concise and short. So when they explain who they are to someone, now you're easily memorable. It's like, oh, because people want to work with a realtor who, ... whatever that is. People are very specific about what kind of agent they want to work with.
I have a friend of mine there who she actually has a little placard on her desk, and she calls herself the real estate gangsta. You know, is it a good idea to kind of make yourself stand out like that? So my dad Terry is the founder of our team. He's a real estate evangelist. I mean, is it wise to change it up a little bit, make it a little bit more humorous so that you can stand out that way?
I think that's great as long as it's clear. Like, so when you say real estate gangsta, I'm not really clear what that means. So maybe there needs to be a little tagline afterwards explaining that makes sense, right?
Like her past life of crime or her involvement in sham records.
Right, I kill for my clients. I mean,
I guarantee to blast the other agents, something like that.
Oh, yeah. No, but I like your approach, Italy. The realtor who they want to work with, because people want to know that they come to real estate assuming, like, and everybody asks this, like, if they find out that you're new, that's a concern because they want to work with somebody who solved their exact problem for someone that looks just like them as many times before as humanly possible. Like, ideally, they would, like, if you're like a husband and wife that has three floor denting overweight children that need to move into a
Bastards.
3-bed 2-bath 2-car garage, you want to work with an agent who is married, has 3 kids, lives in a 3-bed 2-bath 2-car garage, and will help you find that exact house. Like, that's, I mean, that's the level that we're
Yeah.
getting to in terms of, like,
Yeah.
consumers' expectations. That's the stuff they want to know. They want that match where not only you're in my social circle and you help other people, a bunch of other people in my social circle. So when you say, like, people want to work with a realtor who, I think it forces people to get out of the cute sayings that don't actually tell anybody anything about. They tell people about you. They don't tell them anything about the consumer. I think that's that's what I don't like about those kinds of cutesy sayings and stuff like that. And Jason Hartman was on the show here a couple weeks ago and talked about how that stuff was extremely successful for him when he was in the business. It's not that it doesn't work. It's that you have more explaining to do. So you can either take a shortcut and you can be clear up front, or you can be cute and clever and then have to be clear. But either way, you have to be clear at some point.
Yeah.
So Greg,
great
what's yours? Yeah, I'm curious what Greg's is. So if you had to narrow yourself down, Greg McDaniel is the realtor who
Sir Pimps a lot.
Yeah,
I don't know. Who doesn't discriminate against anybody. I'll work with everybody in any area at all times. So did I nail it?
Did I nail it?
Yeah, I'm going to copy paste that and put it right in your LinkedIn profile. Because Greg mistakenly gave me and my staff access to all of his stuff. So I can just go, oh, I could screw with you so bad, Greg.
I'm going to fuck you up, homeboy. One keystroke at a time, I'm killing you.
Oh, man.
For me on LinkedIn, what I've always done, and I'm gonna try to be better at it, but like everything else, it's just another freaking thing to do, right? But I really am serious. I use it. Tell me if I'm wrong, but I use it kind of as a reference point for people. So if they're hunting me down, they want to know who I am, what I do, what I stand for, am I talented in anything, then they can go to my LinkedIn, they can see my testimonials, which I just got a few more. I'm super proud about that. And I didn't even solicit them. They did it on their own.
Nice.
But then they can go see like all the people that have endorsed me for all these different things. Now, I know myself, I'm just like, oh, endorsement? Yeah, I don't give a shit what you do. I'm like, oh, yeah, because it's going to come back around. They're going to see the endorsement. They're going to come endorse me back. Then Italia, the average consumer, doesn't know that I'm just an endorsement whore. Then you come see that everybody likes me. You're like, oh, okay, this guy, appears that hundreds and hundreds of people find him valuable in these different real estate, avenues. I mean, that's what I've been using it for, but I need to get back into posting. I need to get in describing who I am, what I do, the things I like, posting, like little selfies, like, posted over here, like, hard at work, something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I do need to get back into that. So, Talia, I'm your perfect customer. What, not to give away your trade secrets, what would be the first thing that you would tell me to go do?
Okay, so me, Italina, would tell you, Greg.
Yes.
Let's look at your profile and make sure it's selling you, right? Make sure it's selling you. So, for example, I've been working with this client, really, really fun, a realtor who they said we need a total online presence revamp. So we're working on their Instagram, their Yelp, their Facebook, their LinkedIn. In fact, it's all up already. Mm-hmm. And based on all the information I pulled from him as a realtor, I said, let's put on there, socially responsible realtor. And I gave him actually 3 options for 3 different types of headings. And they chose the socially responsible one. And obviously there's other things underneath, but that's what stands out really big on his profile, socially responsible realtor. Like that. And when I was on the computer, someone else was asking me, wanted me to show them a sample of a person's LinkedIn profile who I'd redone. So I show them his social responsible realtor. She goes, I'm in love with him already. Turns out she's this huge volunteer person, really huge, like activist. Right away she connected with him.
Mm-hmm. I like
This
that.
is what's happening. This is what I'm talking about, your profile selling you. So even though that realtor wasn't there with me, he was off in his life doing whatever he was doing. Because this woman looked at his profile, she fell in love with him. She related to him right away. She could identify with him. His profile was selling him while he was off doing his thing.
Okay.
So that's an example. First step, go make sure you're putting what distinguishes you on your profile right there in your heading. Let's attack the heading.
Please. Because mine's pretty gnarly.
Please, I'm begging you.
For all that's holy, thank you.
All right. So Italina, how would you go about? So let's say you get your profile kind of squared away. You look good. You've got some sort of differentiating statement kind of right in the header. You've got your profile like summary cleaned up so that it states what you do, where you serve, the types of clients that you're looking for. In case of Greg, it'd be everybody, everywhere, all the time. So for his profile, it'd be very short. But let's say you get the profile all squared away. So then how do you start, rather than sitting back and waiting for people to kind of reach out to you, very passive, how would you more actively go out and search for either leads or people who could send you leads, one of the two?
Yes. Okay, so for number one, first thing I would start, if it's not a habit already, every single business card you get, every time you meet someone, every time you have a chance to talk about real estate to some stranger on the street, you make sure that you connect with them on LinkedIn, because they might not be ready that day, but they may be ready someday, or they may know someone else who's ready. So you start just making a habit. When you meet new people, connect with them on LinkedIn. Your former clients, your current clients, connect with them on LinkedIn. And you're like, why? Because LinkedIn automatically pops up your face for certain occasions, because you've updated your profile, because you have a work anniversary, right? You're going to have these automatic pop-ups. Endorse Greg, right? So all these pop-ups help remind people that you exist and that you're an agent. So that's why you want to connect on LinkedIn, to stay top of mind.
So I use a free system plugin called, I think it's Reportive. It plugs into Gmail, and it's a free thing that pops up on the side. So Matt or Italina, or either, if I didn't know you guys, it would pop up, show me your whatever social medias you're associated with, and I would just say, it does it for LinkedIn. I'm just like, request friend, or to add to network, or whatever the phrase is, and it's helped me grow my LinkedIn substantially.
Nice.
And being able to communicate with people, then they reach back, and so we start our dialogue.
Yeah, it's really good. It's good if if you've had communication with someone by email, especially if you had a phone call with them, and then the LinkedIn connection is a formality. They already know you, and they're comfortable with you and stuff like that. Yeah, just the ability to click right from Gmail and click to connect with someone's great. I wouldn't do that for a new connection. Like if you're reaching out, that's just you haven't met them or had a phone conversation with them, and you're trying to connect with them through a mutual connection on LinkedIn, then I would go to LinkedIn, right, and actually write them a custom message.
Right. So I'll share with you something I did just yesterday. So a real estate team, they reached out to me because they found me on Yelp. Okay, yay, online presence is working. So they found me on Yelp. What did I do before I even? And they found me on Yelp and then sent me an email requesting a consultation. So before I even responded to that email, and this is what I do every time. This is my system. It's a 3-step system. Okay, number one, right away, connect with them on LinkedIn, so that they can get more of who I am. That shows a little bit more of me than a Yelp page. For example, you have limited space on Yelp compared to LinkedIn. And plus, I want them to see my community and how all the connections we have in common. And sure enough, we had tons of connections in common. So I want her to get a better feel for who I am. So first thing, connect with them on LinkedIn. I'll even connect on Facebook. So basically, connect on social media. Step number 2, I call them right away. I don't fuss around with emailing back and forth. I call them right away. And sure enough, she was happy to hear from me. We got to talk. So that immediately set me apart from the other social media firms that they may have contacted. I called her right away. We had a phone conversation, talked about their goals, how we would fit, and helping them meet their goals. So picking up the phone, that's number 2. And on the phone and make it clear to them, well, I'm so glad you guys reached out. What I'll do is I'll add you to my list just so that you can get a better idea of who we are and what we stand for and so forth. So now they're on my drip campaign, right? So right away, social media connection, right away, email newsletter, right away, phone call. Boom, 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 done. Being proactive.
Cool. I like it.
Wait,
Yeah,
hold on. It froze up on me for a second. I missed the third one. What was the third one?
Email. Add them to your email newsletter. Add them to your email list.
Yep.
Because let's say they decide not to make a decision that day or that week, or there are people who, after we send out a newsletter, 6 months later they're like, oh, Italina, okay, now I'm ready. Wanted to give you a call. Got to get my online presence together.
Yeah, it's
so being proactive, connecting on LinkedIn, people you meet, and obviously posting there on the LinkedIn, not just on your Facebook and your Instagram, also posting on LinkedIn, because those are all separate.
Are we all here? Or?
Yeah, I'm here.
I'm here.
Yep, we just froze you. You froze up for a second. That's all.
There you are.
All right.
I want to quickly talk about groups.
Yeah.
Go into groups and then how that can be leveraged and where they should be going, how many can they join, blah 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 blah.
What's so great about groups is these are people who you're not necessarily connected to on LinkedIn, right? These are second level, third level connections, or people, but you guys may very well be in the same kind of circles. So I think one mistake that people make with groups is they only join groups related to their profession. So, for example, I'm in the social media industry. Why in the heck would I only join social media groups? That's not where my clients are. Guess who my clients are? The real estate community. So I am going to join what kind of groups?
Real estate.
You're right. So that's, I think, the biggest mistake. People aren't thinking about who their clients are. So as a real estate agent, your client are a lot of times married or have children. Join a mommy group. Join a women's group. Women's professional network group. There's so many groups. So think about who your client is. Picture that person in your brain and think about where they would be hanging out on LinkedIn.
Oh my God, I know where. I have to go join the midget pole dancers. That's the group I need to be a part of. I see a lot of clientele coming out from there.
Okay. How much longer is this podcast?
I don't even know how to respond to that. Wow. All right. No, but that is a good point, because real estate agents will make that exact same mistake, and we do it a lot on Facebook too. So we're a member of every realtor Facebook group and LinkedIn group on the planet, and a lot of the times it is the same people, because I'm friends with all of them. So I know they're all in the same Facebook groups because I'm in all the same Facebook groups, and I know they're all friends. So I know that's taking place on LinkedIn too, and yeah, so it's going out there and finding. A lot of that is keyword research. Going out, and a lot of it is finding. It also takes the wherewithal and the mental space to go and figure out, okay, who are the ideal clients that I want to work with? What do they look like? What kind of jobs are they working? What kind of trade organizations are they in? Which, if you're a savvy business owner, you should know that. You should know that.
Yes, so think about it. If you love golfing, think about what you do in your life and think about who your current clients are. If your current clients are golfers or tennis players, I'm a big tennis player. Guess what? I'm a part of 2 tennis groups on LinkedIn. Right? So you think about who you're currently working with, where they hang out, and go find other people just like them online.
Yep, I like it.
Absolutely.
Psychographic farming. Yeah, cool.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I want to we got to wrap this up because we're losing something's up with the connection, so I don't want to keep going when we got a bad connection. So Italina, first of all, correct us on the name, that way we know exactly how to find you on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, Italina, Italina, and I should come right up. Italina. I'm wearing the purple dress. Italina, and then Kirknis is my last name with a K. But if you put in Italina and then K, I should come right up.
Yep, perfect. All right, and then so the best way to get in contact with you, obviously, is to go to LinkedIn, because all of your contact information is there, as it should be for any real estate agent.
It's all right there.
That's right.
My phone number is in the heading. You can go into the contact info section, all there, even in my summary, my email and phone number's there.
That's right. Yeah, it's pretty much anywhere you look in your profile. You don't have to scroll down much farther to find your contact information, which is phenomenal. And Greg, why don't you remind us of your contact information so that we can book you out until the end of time with free coaching calls?
Okay, sounds like a deal. But first off, Italina, you guys really should connect with her. You will be impressed with her when you meet her in person or you start speaking with her. She is, no joke, a wealth of knowledge. So, guys, do yourself a favor if you're looking for someone to hire. McDaniel Challenge, you guys, is an hour to 2 hours of free coaching calls, and we do it at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It is free. All caps on that word. There's no like bait and switch. Like I'm not going to ask for your credit card number at the end of the call. Like, thanks so much. That'd be a donation of $200 to me. Thank you. No, it's a good time. We just hang out. We have a few drinks. We get to know each other. We identify what's stopping, blocking, or hindering you from getting the life that you guys truly, truly want and deserve. And I love you guys. That's why I'm willing to spend all of these uncountable hours doing this, because I want to see you guys become successful. I really do. So, Facebook. Follow me. Do not friend me, please. I don't have any more use for friends. I don't have any more space for friends. Oh, wow.
Freudian slip, Greg?
You, just a little one.
Yeah.
Any more room? Any more room for friends? So follow me on Facebook, guys. Watch all my Facebook lives. Message me on Facebook or call or text me. Best number, 925-915-1978. That is my cell phone, guys. It's sitting right next to me. I just upped my data package, so I know my bill's current, but I'm still waiting for, no, it's still not ringing. So please get off your ass and do it.
All right.
Yeah.
Profanity.
Can I give my phone number?
Yeah,
yes,
go ahead.
be careful, though. They will call you.
Are you sure? Yeah.
They will call you.
Go ahead.
It's right in my heading, but it's 510 area code 712-1918.
Perfect.
Beautiful. We had one of our other
guys.
guests that actually got blown up so badly he had to create a URL for people to go to that because he got booked on what he was doing. I think, 3 months and like 5 days or something like that. It was stupid.
Yeah, something. He offered a free consultation. Silly rabbit. Okay. All right, so coming up on the show on Monday, we've got Manish Boxy. He is a disc personality expert. It's going to be a lot of fun because we're going to talk about how to sell the different disc profiles. That guy can go super, super deep. He is essentially the specialist and the go-to guy for the entire core training organization across the country. So when they're looking to hire core trainers or coaches for their realtors and mortgage lenders, this is the guy they go to. He's the guy that profiles who are the top performers in real estate and mortgage. He knows exactly what the personality and the profile type is. We're going to talk about all that stuff. So that's on Monday. So it is not a holiday for Real Estate Uncensored. So you better be there because me and Greg are there. We are working. It's a normal day for us. So we will see you guys on 3 o'clock on Monday. Greg may be drunk, but I will be sober as always and alert and ready to go.
Clear-minded and trying to be the shepherd of Greg as he walks through the valley of podcast. Yes.
That's right. That's right. Certified Greg right here. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Italina, thank you so much. We really appreciate all the content that you brought. And everybody else, we'll have a great weekend because we'll see you on Monday.
Yep, guys. Love you.